guys, Aaron John here for Forever Football DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. Still not recovered yet after this brilliant win today over Milton Keynes Dons. We're here with Aiden from the MKDSA. Of course, you'll see by the matchday vlog that you've seen that he was right at the start of the vlog along with Colin. Aiden, a very interesting game. It's weird now after we've spoken before the match, now coming back here when the match is over, and it's weird sort of looking back on it thinking, how did MK Dons blow that chance away to get 3 points today?
I think it's a good one, Aaron. I think for me, going back to our earlier conversation, I kind of said, whoever scored first for me was kind of critical. And I think, like I said to you, I think if your boys got on the front foot, got that first goal, it was going to be tough. I felt like if we'd have scored first, probably it could have been a bit of a riot, in terms of that. But it's again taking those chances. And I think, what seemed to me anyway from that game is it was a good game overall. It was quite balanced, but I just felt your guys seemed to be more organised, more desire there, and I think that comes from the position you're in at the table. To want it more, I just felt we were a little bit jaded. That's not an excuse. I think both teams played well, but you took your chances. And like I say, I think in the first 15 minutes you got your goal, which I know some of our guys say was offside. It was definitely on. And he could have got two more. So the post is kind of probably man of the match a little bit for us in some ways. You could have been 3-0 up, and it could have been a different story. So, yeah, I think on balance, it's frustrating to lose a game. I'm sure as any team would say. But for me, I just don't think we took our chances when we could have done today. We have the ability there. You've seen that this season. But on reflection, deflation after a game, it's always not nice to lose a game, but at the same time, if you'd have told me at this time of the season we'd have been 6th, I'd have ripped your hand off for that at the beginning of the season, to be quite honest. So on balance, a bad day at the office, but again, like I say, I think you guys played well and deserved the win fully.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, one of the 2 goal scorers for us today, Tommy Rowe. I mean, that guy had a man of the match performance, in my opinion. I mean, who would you say is Doncaster's man of the match and also your man of the match? Because I think from Donny fans' point of view, we could have picked out Rowe, we could have absolutely picked out Ethan Galbraith today, as well as John Bostock in the midfield. I mean, who would you say is our man of the match as well as yours?
Yeah, and it's probably for me between Bostock and Rowe. I think both of them really shone for me today. I thought, again, they just seemed to be... And again, I think it's that reaction, like I think Colin said in his interview with you last week, and, we talked about sort of earlier in the game, is a wounded animal approach. When you've had a hiding, if you like, in midweek, you've got something between the teeth, you want to prove something, and those players need to prove. They need to step up and show Richie Wellens that, that they're actually prepared to show what they're being paid for. To be quite honest, and I think that's what you got today. But I think on balance, probably Rowe just about edges it for me, for you guys. I think for us, it was, like I said, it's a difficult one, really. I think we were sort of bang average across the park, but probably Peter Chioso probably would edge it for me. I thought he was good, he was sharp, scored a nice goal. And what was interesting for me is, and again, credit to Doncaster here, was seeing he keep Scott Twine quiet. Again, that's something that is, say, in the midweek, you ran absolute riot against Fleetwood, scoring that hat-trick.
Yeah, 100%. And talk a little bit about the second goal. I mean, first goal of the season for a guy I called the Turkish Wonder Kid, even to his face, Thiago Chikura. I mean, Watford fans were saying in the summer, if he doesn't score at least 10 goals this season, they'll be gobsmacked. Could this be a goal that really gets him firing now? Because he has posted on social media saying hope for the first of many, or the first of many, not even hopefully.
Yeah, I think, I think if you look at, and I'll use the Doncaster connection here from another game, but look at John Marquis, Portsmouth have been firing blanks, if you like, scored today. It's the same for him as well. Once you get that goal, confidence starts to build, and I think that's the key thing is, scoring the goal is one thing, but now it's about, right, can you keep that consistency? Can you start to see and have that belief? And I think, like I said to quite a few Doncaster fans before the game, to be honest, I know it's kind of a horrible start to the season, but I just think it is exactly that. You've just had a bit of a tough run at the beginning of the season. It happens. And we've had it many times as an MK Dons fan. I think, I've signed up to be a masochist many times over the years. And but it's about how you reflect on that, how you bounce back from that, and I think that's what you saw today. You got a reaction and a good reaction to that, and full value for it.
And do you think this could be the starting point now of maybe a run or some kind of consistency, or do you think this is just a one-off victory for us?
No, it's a tough one, isn't it? I think if you look at, and just from an outsider looking in, I think looking at your performance against Plymouth, okay, the result probably wasn't there, but the performance was. Midweek, probably, the performance wasn't there, and it's that inconsistency, I think, for Doncaster this season is, you've not gone from being a solid mid-table team last season to being a bottom 14, not at all. But it's just that, new management, a few new tweaks in the squad. It takes a little bit of time to gel and to bond. We've seen that with, Ipswich is a great example of a team who literally cleared the decks, brought in 16 odd players, and even they're struggling. And so again, money, players, there's no guarantee to success. It's just a case of, when does it start to flow? When does it start to click? And I think from a Doncaster perspective, coming into that game, playing, us bang on form, top three at the start of the day, that should give them confidence. And, for Richie Wellens to go into that changing room afterwards and say, look, you've beaten one of the top three teams this season, so what are you scared of? What are you waiting for? A little bit. You've taken your chance, you've grasped it. Now it's a case of how do you build on that? How do you continue to maintain that consistency? And I think you've got the ingredients to do it there.
Yeah, it should hopefully be an interesting watch. I mean, going into MK Don's next game then, is there more of a pressure for you now to get 3 points back on the board since you've, gone down the league by a couple of places?
It is, and I sort of joked with a few of our fans at the end of the game. I'm kind of glad the international break's come and we haven't got to play AFC Wimbledon in our next game, to be quite honest, Aaron. I think it's probably timely, and, again, I don't think we played badly today. I don't think, that it wasn't so much that. I think, like I said, we got a fair share of pressure and possession throughout the game. I think that sort of swung both ways throughout the game, really, and it's just a case of looking back on that performance, seeing where we need to tighten up. We're the highest scoring team in the league. Unfortunately, we're not the tightest defence in the league. And I think that's the bit I would be focusing if I was Liam Manning right now, is what do we need to do in that defence to tweak it? We saw it against Fleetwood midweek. They took, Lewington was dropped or rested. And again, I think that's probably partly down to the fact of his age. But actually, you saw that exposure there of that experience was missing. And I don't think sort of people will point to Zach Jules and say it was his fault. I think he's a good player. There's definitely a player there. He's great going forward, but he's not been in the team for quite some time. So again, you can be a bit ring rusty. So I think for me, it's just probably a reflection on what did we do, well so far this season, which is going forward. I think in the possession sort of side of things is very something we're consistently strong with. That started with Russell Martin and has been built on with Liam and getting a bit more purpose there. But I think that defence just needs something, maybe sort of, maybe it's just a bad day at the office in terms of that. And we go again. But, I couldn't sit there with my finger on it and say it's been a bad, a result in terms of the performance. I mean, in terms of the goals, yes. But I think, there's still positives to take out of the game. It's just frustration. And I think the frustration really reflects on Doncaster's doggedness, if you like, of really trying to grind a result out there. And like you say, it's about taking your chances, and I thought you took your chances well.
Yeah, 100%, and fingers crossed we can take that into the rest of the season as well. Aiden, thank you very, very much for coming on the fan cam today. Much appreciated.
No worries at all, and best of luck for the rest of the season.